Welcome back everyone to a video kind of going over the best settings and maybe a couple Easter eggs that I have for my wife's 2021 Model Y. Honestly, a lot of this stuff will apply to the new Juniper models as well. There's obviously going to be some things that are different, but primarily this video is going to apply to any legacy Model Y or Model 3 owners. Just going to try to show you all just kind of the settings that we use, and hopefully you all find some of this useful. If you do, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the video. It'll really help out the channel. So just kind of starting off here, you click your car icon here in the bottom left. Obviously this brings up all of your settings on this beautiful horizontal screen here. You can see you can kind of play around with your vehicle in these settings a little bit, but primarily, so the first screen is going to be controls. The screen is going to be your main focus when you open up the settings. This is kind of where all of your usual controls that you will use on a day-to-day basis will be located at. So as you can see here up top, automatic lights, automatic fog lights as well. Here is where you can fold your mirrors and save the location if you want your mirrors folded here. I'm going to unfold them for now. This is where you can change your child lock on or off, your window lock on or off as well. I know most people, like myself included, are used to the child and window lock actually being on the doors, but in this case they're in the controls here. Automatic windshield wipers, you can also control that by clicking on the side of the left stalk on the steering wheel and then just using your scroll wheel to change it between auto, off, all that good stuff. But you can find that here as well. This is also where you can adjust your mirrors, the steering wheel if you want it more towards you, or if you want to move it up or down. This is also where you can enable sentry mode or record the last 30 seconds via the dash cam. The last two settings here, as you can see, is the auto. So I had this set to auto. This is the brightness of the screen. I usually have dark mode, but I turned this on light mode just so you all could see everything. And then the final control here is the glove box. So moving through here onto dynamics, this is where you can change your acceleration from chill to standard. I usually leave it in chill. It's better for your tires. If you know there's a day I'm feeling frisky, I want to get out there and go fast, sure, I'll change it to standard, but 9 times out of 10 I do leave it in chill mode. Steering weight, so this kind of just controls the weight of your steering wheel. I prefer this on standard. Some people will like it on light if you're doing some drag strip racing, whatnot, whatever. If you have the performance model, something like that, maybe you want to use heavy. Stopping mode here, as I recommended in the settings for my Tesla Model X, I had this on hold. I like as much regenerative braking as possible. I've just gotten used to the one pedal. This will be truly one pedal driving. If you want just it to operate like a normal gas vehicle, your best option is going to be creep. So I also have apply brakes when regenerative braking is limited. So in this case, usually if it's extremely cold outside, your regenerative braking is going to be limited just by the cold weather. So this just makes it act like nothing's changed. Although you're not getting that regenerative power, it is still acting like it is doing regenerative braking. So to the driver, it still feels the same. So I do prefer that. Other two here, I have these unchecked: slip start and off-road assist. Charging, obviously, this is where you can set your charge limit if you're charging at home, work, or a supercharger. As you can see, usually my wife will charge it to 90. She has a pretty long commute, a couple days a week to work. So generally, obviously, Tesla recommends 80%. So whenever we're not charging to 90 for a commute or going on a road trip, we do keep it to 80. I would suggest you all do the same. This is also where you can schedule charging. So I have it at my location, which is my house. It's set to charge every day at 10 o'clock to 6 a.m. because that is when our off-peak hours are for charging. So pretty cool, you can set your schedule there. Moving on to Autopilot. So this is where you can change to just traffic aware cruise control or auto steer. That option will come with all Teslas. If you have the full self-driving, that will be available here as well. Autopilot activation, I like to double pull on this stock here in order to activate Autopilot, just so I don't accidentally single tap it, something like that. And this way when you change lanes, you can just hit it down again. It'll keep your speed if you change lanes. You'll just have to re-enable the auto steering. So the set speed, we went over this in the last video as well. I have it fixed off the speed limit. So basically it will, if I'm in the auto steer mode, it will default to about 15 miles over the speed limit. It never really gets up to that. That's just kind of the threshold I set, so it doesn't start, right at the speed limit and you're having to constantly adjust it. That's just what I've found works best for me. Offset here, again, that's, as you can see, offset here is, you can do a percentage, you can do a fixed amount. Again, I like to just do 15 miles per hour over on both of these. This is just the speed limit warning. If you're going 15 or miles over, it will display the speed limit. You can have it chime. I don't know why anyone would want to do that, but you do have that option. Forward collision warning. Usually when I'm on auto steer, for some reason this vehicle detects it extremely early, so I have that set on late. I think a lot of you probably would want to set that on early, but just in my instance, I do have that on late. Lane departure avoidance, I have this on warning. There's this one curb by my house. For some reason, it thinks I'm veering off lane, and it will just auto jerk me into another lane. So I do keep this on warning just for that one specific reason. I have no other issues with it outside. For some reason, this curb, man, this thing just thinks we're going off-roading. So I have that on warning. A lot of you might want to have that on assist. Emergency lane departure avoidance, that's a good one. It will kind of help steer you back into your lane. And then obstacle aware acceleration, it might not do much, but if it does detect an obstacle, someone coming behind you, something like that, it can try to speed up and get out of the way when you're in auto steer. Last option here is green traffic light chime. I generally pay attention when I drive. This doesn't have full self-driving. This specific car doesn't, mine does. So I don't really use the green traffic light chime because I'm usually paying attention, but if you set this, it will chime every time the red light turns green. So locks, you can just kind of go through, see all the phones, and set up your key fobs, all that kind of good stuff there. This is the lights. Obviously I recommend auto headlights, so your battery doesn't die when you leave your headlights on. Front fog lights, I have that on as well. Auto turn signals, I prefer this on auto cancel. It actually works really well. It will kind of detect when you're in the other lane and will turn off the turn signal automatically for you. Auto high beams, I had a Ford F-150 before this. Auto high beams were horrible in that vehicle, and in Teslas in particular, the auto high beam is actually fantastic. I would recommend leaving that on. Headlights after exit, I recommend having this turned on. I just have it off right now, just because we are parked in the garage, so it kind of remembers my settings there. Ambient lighting, I would recommend leaving that on. That's just your ambient lights in the vehicle. Dome lights, I would usually have this on auto, but for the sake of this video, so you don't have a glare on the screen, I had this set to off. Generally, I would have it on auto. Steering wheel lights, I would leave those on. That'll just help with your media controls on your steering wheels, kind of illuminate those a little bit. And then seats. This is kind of where you can just adjust, the front seat. Or you can turn on all of your seat warmers. That's a pretty simple screen there. Display, as I said earlier, I usually use auto. If I'm driving at night sometimes, I will do the reduced blue light option. That just really helps your eyes. I mean, the auto brightness is really good, but it does help your eyes turning on that reduced blue light. Automatic blind spot camera, everyone should have this on. It's freaking awesome. When you go to change lanes, I don't know if it'll do it now, it'll pop up with kind of your blind spot there, which is awesome. Really, it spoils you from having to check your blind spot because it pops up on the screen there. In display as well, we have screen clean mode. If you click that, whole screen will go black and you can kind of wipe everything down without changing all your controls. I have a matte screen protector on here, so I usually don't have to clean it as much because this is pretty fingerprint resistant with it being matte and all. I will have this product linked in the description below if you all want to get your hands on the matte screen protector. Scroll wheel function. There's so much you can choose here. Fold mirrors, fan speed, temperature, all that kind of good stuff. I do have the glove box, just so it's easier so I don't have to go into controls and hit glove box. I can just hold down the button on the steering wheel. Glove box opens. Rest of the stuff, pretty straightforward. Select whatever language you prefer. Again, this is like the scheduling option that was in the charging tab. It's just a little more advanced. You can set preconditioning so your cabin temperature is kind of ready to go when you leave in the morning. But that's really only useful if you have the exact same schedule every single morning, which most people don't nowadays. But that option is there. Obviously, here's my charge schedule. Safety. This is all about sentry mode, dash cam, all that kind of good stuff. So I do recommend auto enabling sentry mode. You have it, you might as well use it. Someone keys your car, tries to break into your car, you have your dog in your car, something like that, you can go back, look at the footage, see what was going on. I have home and work excluded. We have a lot of cameras set up around our home, so I really don't need it. Same with work. Camera-based detection here. So when this is enabled, it will use the external cameras as well as the sensors to detect an event, so I would obviously have that on just for more peace of mind. Disable sentry sounds. I like it to make a noise if someone's near the car or if something fishy's going on, so I would leave that unchecked, which will enable sentry sounds. Something nice this vehicle has that my Model X does not is viewing the camera via the mobile app. I don't know why you wouldn't use this. You can pull up your app on your phone and view live footage of your vehicle when you're not in it, sort of like a Ring doorbell. Next setting here is dash cam. I have this to auto. It'll pretty much try to automatically detect if it needs to record an event. In the event you get in a wreck, something like that. Or also, you can use on honk. So if something happens, you can honk the horn and it will record the last 30 seconds, I believe. This is also where you can delete all your dash cam clips, or if you have a USB drive, which you need for Sentry mode recordings, you can format that here. Automatic blind spot cameras, we talked about that earlier. Blind spot collision warning. I like to have this enabled. It's just another safety feature. It'll chime if you're about to hit somebody. Everything else, allow mobile access. I would obviously allow that. Another good note here is this is where valet mode is. If you're ever using valet, I would come and turn that on. It just makes it easier on you and the valet driver. It's where you can also turn on pin to drive and the glove box pin, which I should have both of those turned on. I just do not at this point in time, but that's on my list. I would highly recommend a pin to drive and a glove box pin. That way if someone gets access to your vehicle, they're not going to be able to drive it without that pin. Parental controls. I guess if you have a child and this is their first car, you could set up some parental controls as well as setting a max speed limit. Cabin overheat protection. This kind of will detect If the interior and the inside cabin gets too hot, it will automatically try to cool it down. I found that this kind of drains your battery a lot. It's summer's over now, so it really shouldn't be too hot outside in most places. So I do try to leave that off, and then, if it is really hot, I'll get in the app and then I'll precondition the vehicle, 10 minutes before I get in, something like that. This is also where you can set up automatic 911 call. Again, another feature I would recommend using. Park assist chimes, would recommend that. If you're getting close to an object when parking, it'll chime at you. 2 more options, gear chimes, just will make a chime if you switch gears to drive, reverse, neutral, that good stuff. Lower volume in reverse, I don't really need that feature. That one's completely up to you guys. Joe mode, shout out to Joe. This guy Joe tweeted Elon and was like, hey, too much beeping and stuff going on. Can we eliminate it in the vehicle? So this Joe mode, I would recommend. It kind of limits a lot of the noises and chimes in the vehicle, makes it quieter, especially if you have kids. Service, this is where you can see your PSI. You can come in here to maintenance, see when everything was changed, cabin air filter, tire rotations, low voltage battery, 12 volt battery, wheel alignment, all that kind of good stuff, which is really cool. Would recommend logging that every time you have any type of maintenance. This is where you can find the owner's manual, wiper service mode, factory reset, camera calibration, all that kind of good stuff. You can also recalibrate your driver's seat, steering, and mirrors. So a lot of good stuff there. Maybe I'll go more in depth in a different video about maintenance. Software. This just kind of shows your mileage, your model, all that kind of good stuff. You can click here and kind of change the color of your vehicle if you want. I'm going to leave that on white. It'll tell you which full self-driving computer you have. I have 3. It will tell you everyone has the autopilot included, but this is where it would tell you if you have full self-driving available. Sorry about that. Premium connectivity if you have it. And then this will tell you your software, navigation data. Software update preference, I prefer advanced. This just means you get software updates more frequently than standard, which I prefer. And then navigation. As I stated in my Model X video, I use HOV lanes, automatic navigation. You just get in, drive, and it will automatically route you to your destination. I prefer navigation volume off. I'm usually paying attention, so I really don't need to know the controls or anything like that, or where we're headed, interrupting my music every turn. Trip planner, well, I would recommend that. It automatically factors in your charge level and will route you to a supercharger if needed. Online routing, basically, if it's going to save you 2 minutes or more, I have it reroute me. Usually I do have avoid tolls as well, but went across the bridge the other day, didn't really have an option, so I did disable that, but usually I do have this checked. I also have third-party charging stations included. You can charge at third-party places and not just superchargers. This could make your trip easier if you enable that option. Trips, if you buy a Tesla, I would recommend creating a new card here and calling it I have mine called Sense Own. This will kind of just give you your stats since you've owned the vehicle, and you can kind of compare that to the life of the vehicle. I just think that's pretty cool, and it really shows you how you've utilized the vehicle since you've purchased it. Last here is just basic stuff, just your Wi-Fi. I'm on the Force right now, shout out to my Star Wars fans. Bluetooth, again, this is where you can choose which phone you want to connect to. Audio, this is where you can create your presets as well as change immersive sound, allow mobile control. Something really cool here too is all this junk in your app bar here. You can turn a lot of that off here. These media sources, a lot of these I do not use, so I disabled pretty much every single one, and look how much more clean my app drawer is here. Lastly, We have upgrades. This is where you can switch to the full self-driving or premium connectivity, which I already have, so that's not featured here. But you can subscribe here for $99 a month, or I believe you have to use the app to buy the full self-driving outright for $8,000. The only other controls here are just your temperature controls. One thing cool here is to turn off your temperature controls, you can just hold this button down. It turns off your AC. Tap it to turn it back on. You can obviously spread where you want your air. I usually have it on auto, but just for this video, so you all don't hear the AC blasting, I just left it on 1. Rear controls, that's where you can turn on the rear AC, as well as control the rear heated seats. This is where you also find keep mode, dog mode, and camp mode. And the only other thing is just kind of your filtering. So this button down here, I usually have it on auto. It will just choose whether to circulate the air that's already in your vehicle or use outside air to cool your cabin down or heat your cabin up. Honestly, guys, that's pretty much it. The only other setting I will show you is just kind of these settings here. You do have your open your charge port, open the frunk, open the trunk, or lock or unlock the vehicle. And obviously this, I have it plugged in right now. It's already at max limit, but this will kind of show you your charging stats as well. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I know this was a lot. I just kind of wanted to, you know, if you're this mainly was focused towards people who just got a Tesla, or if they're kind of looking to revamp their settings. So I kind of wanted to go more in depth. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. If there's a setting I missed or a setting that I'm not utilizing that you think could benefit me, definitely comment that below as well. And as always, please hit subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. It really helps get the channel growing and picking up steam a little bit here in the more recent videos. Really want to help you out. I'm really transparent. I think these videos can help out a lot of people. So if you could subscribe and like the video, that'd be fantastic. And I will catch you all in the next one.